Hey dreamers, this is Jade. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I hope you all have been doing well. Here I am getting a few journal sessions completed. I wanted to just go in and kind of just journal. Like I just felt like journaling. And so here I actually end up completing 3 spreads in one. And so I basically start by getting my decorations down for each spread, and I flip back and forth adding stuff here and there, so you'll see me doing that. But it's mostly on this first spread because I'm not satisfied with it, and even at the end I'm not completely satisfied with the way it turns out. However, it is what it is. I started by putting down a wash of watercolors, using like the smush method, whatever you want to call it. And as I said, I like doing it this way because I have more control over it and what happens to it and where it gets down on the paper, and it just, the colors go with the theme of this spread. Now, there was another spread. This next spread was actually October 2nd that I was recording. This came out on October 3rd. So I did it out of order. I did not mean to, but it doesn't really matter to me. So yeah. Anyway, I did want to note down the Ed Gein story that came out on October 3rd, because my favorite actor was in it, and I hadn't really seen any new projects of his lately, so I wanted to get this down. And honestly, I felt like the story was phenomenal. Like I learned some things about this guy. It featured Ed Gein. Well, that was what the story was about. However, I did not know that this singular man was the inspiration for the book Psycho, the movie Psycho. There was a book written about him, and then like all these other things, like I forget the Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs, and then the Chainsaw Massacre. Like he inspired all of these crazy stories that we have in media today, and from what he did, his crimes, which were absolutely freaking horrendous. However, I really, really appreciated both Lori and Charlie Hunnam in this show. The acting was phenomenal. The voice that Charlie came up with to portray this character was absolutely creepy. And it's funny because I watched an interview of him talking about this, and he wasn't going for creepy. He just was going for, he was thinking about, see, this is why I like this man, because he is thoughtful in his choices and about the way he does stuff. He wasn't particularly trying to imitate Ed Gein himself, but trying to give him a voice, considering the his upbringing and how his mom used to tell him basically that he was worthless, that only a mother could love him, and every day that she wished he was a girl. So, he came up with this voice, thinking of what would I sound like if my mother told me something like this every day, that she wished I was a girl, or whatever. And so yeah, it was just phenomenal. I mean, not excusing any of his crimes because they were crazy. As I said, horrendous, ridiculous. But I do believe that Charlie Hunnam really gave some humanity to this guy, and not in the fact, like I said, excusing his crimes, but letting us see into this man's world to where you understand how he became the way that he became. Because he, how people like commit crimes and stuff, and people will automatically blame it on mental illness, and sometimes it's like, no, it's not mental illness, this person is just fucking evil. Well, this guy actually had a mental illness, and you can see how it would have developed, with the things that he went through. He was isolated. Again, he only had his mom, basically, and then she told him, well, she talked to him crappy every day, and she told him how much she wished she was a girl, etc., etc. And so his just mind, I think, just kind of split. I think they said it was schizophrenia. But anyway, it's very interesting. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure there's some stuff in there that's not exactly like 100% true. But it was a great portrayal, and if you haven't seen it, I would suggest watching it. It was really, really good. Um, uh, Crazy. It was an indictment on everybody, I think. But it was good. And then moving on, next day I'm getting my decorations down for this, because I had actually ended up going shopping. I had ordered a book from Barnes and Noble, and they called me to let me know that it was in stock. It was in they and I could, God, can I talk? I could come and pick it up. And so that's what I did. I actually ended up buying a couple more books while I was there. One, because it was a new book, and I had been scrolling through. I think I was looking for something on Hoopla, and they had like an advertisement for that book, and I was like, wow, that cover is gorgeous. And when I got to the store, that book was in there, and honestly, I don't even know what it's about, but I got it because the cover is beautiful. And then I got another book as well, and so yeah. And then I also was out shopping. I was looking for some soursop, so I went to the Asian market not too far from the Barnes and Noble, to find some, and thankfully they helped me find some. Of course, I traversed the entire store only to find it in the place that I was at first. I was like, and then at the same time, I was having like a crisis in my legs, and I was super sleepy, so I just wanted to get home and go to sleep and take some pain medicine. It was crazy. So, but anyway, I'm just getting the decorations down first. I really like the colors in this, and it just kind of goes with everything that I'm talking about: the books, the reading, all of that kind of stuff. And this is paper that I pulled out. I think it's from the Dreamer collection by American Crafts. I got it from scrapbook.com a long time ago. I'm not sure if they still have it, but anything that I use in the making of these spreads, if I can find a link for it, you can find it below in the description box here. And I do end up using my undo a lot in here. And then I think the next spread, not this one, not in this video, but I do a journal entry after all of this, and I use it a lot in that because I kept putting things down wonky. But anyway, moving on. So as I said, just getting like the decorations down, the basics of what I want, and then I'm like, if I feel like I need to fill some other things in, I can just go back and do that, once I get like the writing down and all that kind of stuff. So here you see me doing some more decorating, because I completely forgot I had printed out this picture to go with it. So I want to get that down and get it in the same area here, and I'm just cutting off the edge there. And then after this, I think I move on to decorating the next spread. As I said, I'm not writing my journal entries quite now, but I will get the decorations down for the next spreads, and or the dates of what was happening here. And here is where I actually write the wrong date. This was the second, and so I'm like, oh, now I got to do it over. But of course, as I said, most things are easily fixable in your journeys, that too, in your journals if you make a mistake. So I have this paper that I've had in my stash for a while, and I just go ahead and write the 2 down. I cut it down so it fits in that little space. And honestly, I look at it now and I can't even tell. I cannot even tell that I made a mistake there. Even when I was doing this, I completely forgot I did it, because I saw the 2 there and I was like, yeah, that's right, that because I did that on the second, and I completely forgot that it was a cover up. But anyway, I'm getting my decorations down for the next day. I had a couple appointments this day, and I ended up, before I went to one of them, I ended up taking a picture of my shoes and like some of the leaves that were down on the ground. The leaves, oh my god, it's just ridiculous. So, and then they get the way my car is made and where I park is next to a tree, and they get kind of under the hood, and it drives me batshit crazy. So yeah, but anyway, I took a picture by some leaves here, so I was like, this is just appropriate, and it's fall, everything like that. So I had a couple of appointments this day. Again, I was tired because I was up early, and then it was a appointment, and then I went home real quick and basically went out to my next appointment. So yeah, just getting as I said, the decorations down here. This one is, I feel like, the most basic spread that I did. And once I'm finished doing this, I will go back and revamp some of the decorations for the Gein spread that I had, that I was working on when I first started this. as I said, I'm first getting this down. I decided I wanted to add these extra leaves up there at the top, and then I go back to the egging spread and I start fixing that up because I flipping back and forth. I did this over a course of a few days, and flipping back and forth, I wasn't pleased with the way the poster looked, and then that sticker down there kept getting creased and like it was looking not good. So I reprinted these pictures, and I actually decided I wanted a bigger poster, and I used a different one as well from the show because I just wanted it to take up more space. I just felt like that smaller poster wasn't doing it for me, and so I did this. And as you can see at the top, I started stamping out Monster. But of course, I don't know what is up with me and why I can't stamp stuff straight sometimes. It started going at a slant, and I was like, do not like that. 0 out of 10. So I just made a sticker that said Monster and covered it up that way. And I added that little sticker of the rose there, although this is not this is not a rosy story. Just basically for a pop of color to differentiate because it was a little too monochrome and green for me there. So I did add that little rose there, and then I'm adding this loved here. And these are from a super old Maggie Holmes sticker pack that I've had in my stash for a while. And I try to outline the love, and of course I'm messing it up, but and going over the actual sticker, but it is what it is, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be. So, and then I will get my entries and stuff down. As I said before, I actually do that off camera because I just wanted to get it done and not have to worry about writing it on camera, etc., etc. So yeah, I'm just getting this outline and trying to figure out if this is all I want to do here. As I said, I had a hard time with this spread because it started out good, and then I don't know what happened. I'm not super pleased with the way it turned out, but I am glad I documented it because, as I said, the story was crazy. But it was very much worth the watch in understanding kind of what happened. And then also, just knowing that this was the catalyst for people, because they were saying, like in interviews before, that monsters in movies and stuff were always something like Dracula, werewolves, etc., etc. And he was like, this is the first time Psycho, when it came out, the movie, that people became the monsters. And it's just kind of been an evolutionary thing since, and how people are recounting crazy stories of the actions of certain people, and knowing that humans are actually the monsters here and not just like Draculas or werewolves or other supernatural and paranormal creatures. So yeah, anyway, it was very, very good. Very, very good. I like the commentary of it, and as I said, the acting was just phenomenal. Like Laurie Metcalf, bravo. Charlie Hunnam, bravo. Just they did that, okay? And now I'm just going back through and getting the last bits of stuff done, like coloring in the dates here, and then actually stamping the dates down, and that pretty much ends that. And so I will have like a little wrap up at the end, and so I'm gonna end it here, and you will see the rest. So yeah, that's it. If you have any comments, well, actually do that at the end, so I'm not gonna do it now, but anyway, that's it. Okay, so we are done. I have every little thing finished up. I did the small little added extra embellishments that I needed, like coloring in the date here, and then actually adding it over here. My entries are complete. I did that off camera, so it's easier to just do that off camera. So we are done with the 7th here. And then, of course, this happened on the 2nd, and I meant to actually do this spread first, but ended up doing this one first. So as I said before, entries complete. Have this done here, and same over here. Not quite happy with the way that this turned out, but it is what it is. I added this and just because I wanted a pop of color besides just having the green going on here. So yeah, as I said, not really loving the way this one turned out, but everything else I do really enjoy. Entries done. So all of these entries were complete, and this show came out on the 3rd of October, and this was the 2nd of October. I went out to Barnes and Noble. I had this book here. I had to order it and go pick it up from them. So, and I just grabbed a couple more books while I was there, and I went looking for Soursop as well. And then here it's just I had a couple of appointments that I needed to go to this day. So yeah, so these are my entries that I've been working on in this video, and they are complete, and I can move on. And we will get into the next entry soon. So yeah, anyway, that is it for these. If you have any comments or questions about anything, please leave those below. I trust you all have been safe and well. I appreciate all the love and support, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.